Did you choke on something there, Professor?
It was
didn't work at all.
It was large. It was shadowy.
Oh.
O'Reilly?
I broke
Sorry,
it.
we're hitting the wrong button here.
Oh my god. I'm sorry.
Bitch. He's so good. How is he not a meme? How has he not? If this was 1997, he'd have a soundboard and it would be amazing. And it would just
It'd be the word. It'd be the B word every time. Just in different places. This is all he said.
I don't know what to do.
She's talking to the cat's
Yeah,
upset.
we're waiting. Don't worry.
Sorry, we can start any time. Sorry, go ahead.
Hang
No,
on,
it's
give me a
all right.
sec.
I like hearing your wife talking to the cat outside.
Right.
So it's
yeah.
Big Bad Leroy Brown the cat.
Yeah, massive cat. Huge Maine Coon cat just hanging out in the woods out here in Northern California in the heat. And I'm worried about said cat. And my other cat is upset that cat walked away without saying hi, so she's a little upset.
She's miffed.
She's a little miffed. She's combing her hair right now. She's kind of wondering how to get his attention. So we'll see how that goes.
Speaking of wanting to get attention, hi everybody. Welcome to the Just Three Gents podcast here on the BC WrestlePod podcast channel here on YouTube. We are so excited to be back with you together. We've got the OG crew. All three gents are here to give our sense on AEW Dynamite, as well as, local flora and fauna in the Northern California region. You have Mikey, you've got the Professor, you've got JVL. We're all here doing this fun stuff on the solstice today. We are taking the longest day of the year to its end. And honestly, that's kind of how Dynamite felt as well, where it was like jam-packed worth of stuff, which it hadn't been for a couple weeks. Now, was it all good? Was it all bad? You're going to find out as we talk to you about our opinions on it after you go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Click that alert bell to make sure you get all of our content as it comes through. Join our Patreon so that you can actually give Mikey some money to get really cool tank tops so we don't have to buy it for him. And you can also buy some of our merch, which we all do love and probably should all be wearing at some point on here. And of course, find us on all of our stuff there for live watch-alongs, great stuff on Twitch, and other ideas of stuff that we need to do for you because we just want to make you happy is really all we want to do here.
We've had some great turnouts for the live. Some people have been showing up and commenting and talking lately.
Callum,
It's
we
been
love
great.
you. We love you, Callum, so much. All right. This was done on Juneteenth live, which was great because it was also mentioned during the show as well. So good to celebrate that, but also to know that that's when this was coming to us from. We here are about a day later getting right into it. And we have, to start off the evening, a commercial-free match of a filler feud because somebody in this match is not allowed to be on Forbidden Door. So we're going to have the Forbidden Door match we were going to do on Dynamite the week before.
Yeah.
MJF versus Roosh.
I know we've been talking about this, that it's sort of shoehorned in there, like, hey, have a feud. Here you go. This match, I warmed up to this because I kind of checked out because we talked about this was sort of, this is a filler thing. I don't know where this is going to go.
It's the beginning of the freaking show.
And it's the beginning of the show.
And you tuned out already?
Well, because part of my heart wasn't in it because the last few weeks has been like, oh, that's right, we're starting with this. All right, I hope it doesn't suck. And the first few minutes of this was like, all right, you're going to feel each other out. You're going to figure out what's going on, fine. But then all of a sudden they started taking risks and doing crazy things, and this turned into an awesome match out of nowhere. Roosh was whipping him with what looked like a jump rope at one point, like aggressively. Like that's a jump.
Electrical cable.
It was a jump rope. It was a jump rope.
Professor, we know you work in theater, and most cables are jump ropes to all of us that do that, but that's not a jump rope.
Looked like a jump rope.
It's a copper fiber cable.
It was kind of the jump rope from Legally Blonde. It was the dan 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 dan. Yeah, that's kind of what that was.
Interesting.
All right,
Interesting.
then.
A good reference point.
But I like this match. I had fun watching it. I know I'm just giving a little grief at the top. That headbutt actually split MJF, which was scary and kind of woke him up some. And I can't remember where it was, but there was a receipt that MJF threw a little later on after that. I was like, oh, you hit him really hard. Okay.
It was the brain buster that he dropped him straight on his head, actually, because he had him up there in the sheer drop.
Jesus. This was great. Go ahead.
I got to ask you and Mikey, did you enjoy the fact that both of them were not going to play up to that one had to be the babyface or the heel? They both were doing dickish tactics the entire time, and it worked really well?
I love that. I think it's fun. I think it plays back to the he's our scumbag. It plays back to Roosh just, I hate everyone, I'm evil now. And it actually gives Roosh somewhere to go, which we'll talk about later on in the evening when that promo showed up, because that was the first time I've been interested in that sort of angle and hook in a while, actually.
Oh, God.
I know. You can get mad. You can hate it. But I was like, God.
God.
That means something. all right, better than other things that we've seen. Yeah, very. It's good to see MJF back in the ring because MJF is just incredible. MJF is so good at this. A little few moments where they hesitated. There's a few moments where it was like, hey, are you going for the, hey, what about the thing? But nothing that was scary or awkward to me.
That was later in the night.
Yeah, there was that. Mikey, use your words.
Yeah, how did it feel for you to see Dick Rouge versus Dick MJF?
I mean, I'm not going to complain. I really enjoyed this match. I thought this was a lot of fun. It was very brutal on both sides for MJF and for Rouge. I missed Rouge because for a while he wasn't hitting people with cables, but now he brought it down.
It's totally a jump rope. It's totally a jump rope. I just pulled it back up. It's a jump rope. They just tied both ends to something else.
It's a double Rouge, okay?
How great would that be? Dude, just whacking him. Sorry. Go, Mikey, go.
I lost my train of thought. Thanks.
I win. Hey.
No, never mind. I remember where we're going. Yeah, the brainbuster was MJF. Also, the running drop kick from Rouge too. I'm like, somebody's about to get their chest caved in one of these days because he just runs at full speed and just like drops straight into it like a missile.
He practiced that a couple times. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's very fair. I'm happy to see MJF win, and this was totally, hey, so we can't have this match at Forbidden Door because reasons for Rouge not being able to be allowed to be there.
Politics.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Rouge can't leave the country?
No. They said no fly zone because he's not allowed to be near CMLL participants because he works for AAA. And they're a giant.
That's right. We talked about
and CMLL folks, the company has bad blood.
Okay. It's literally as if like Evolve Pro Wrestling in the UK brought in WWE and AEW stars. One wouldn't be allowed.
I see. That's tough. That's too bad that it ends that way. MJF, I thought the last 10 seconds in this were sort of abrupt, where it was sort of like, bring this home. Okay, go, great. Go, it's over. Like, oh, whoa, okay, fine. I guess we're there.
Bring that up for a couple other of these matches too. Be like, hey, we're running out of time. Finish it. Got it.
Yeah.
Go home.
Which was interesting, but a fun match. MJF has a thing for biting people now, which is kind of funny.
He's adding it to the eye poke and the whole Ric Flair strut, so he's getting there with a bunch of stuff.
And then that Rick Rude thrust that he does now, I was like, oh, you're doing all the throwbacks. Good for you.
I can't wait till he gets to the late 90s.
Oh, I can't wait. Nothing could go wrong.
Except it could, because right now he's now being set up for a promo afterwards where the Cage of Agony are up there talking about how he has disrespect for luchadors. So obviously by beating Rouge, he just really disrespects luchadors. So let's set him up with his actual feud for Forbidden Door with less than a week of build for a CMLL competitor, and we'll feed you Hechicero.
Yeah, CMLL ain't walking out of this pay-per-view unscathed because Hechicero is going to lose to MJF and Stephanie Vaquera is losing that title to Mercedes.
Oh, I hope not, but it's true.
This is not an awful promo. I just realized that MJF has 3 words on his elbow pad that are hysterical to me. It's such a weird promo, though, because it is shoehorned in there, and we know Forbidden Door is coming up soon. I can't think of his name. Guy in the back at the very end just goes, yeah! And then it's over. It's like, yeah, okay.
Oh, that's Toa Leona.
Yeah, Toa Leona. Just like, I'm going to get my voice in there. Yeah! Like, okay, fine.
Bishop Khan and him. They're a good tag team, but Jesus, they can't do anything on the mic.
We talked about this with Forbidden Door a few times, where it's sort of like it creeps up on you so fast, and you can't anticipate the politics of it necessarily. You can a little, but all of a sudden it seems like they're always scrambling at the end. We know sometimes it's been injury, we know it's been other things, but this is definitely like, all right, so what do you want to do? Oh, when is it? We got time. You got like 10 days. Oh, wait, what? Yeah. Oh.
Well, and then we get the official placard later in the evening from Tony Khan on Twitter that MJF will be facing Hechicero at Forbidden Door. And then there's another match we'll talk about that also got made that I'm super excited.
That I loved there. But everyone make sure we're in Forbidden Door season. Make sure you get your pre-match physio cards under your pillows at night to make sure that we give them all to the pre-match physio fairy so no one else gets injured.
Or sick.
Or sick at this point because that's Forbidden Door for you.
Or Adam Cole. Man, last year he didn't get to face Filthy Tom Lawler.
Well, to be fair, no one got to face Filthy Tom Lawler, but still, it's a thing we have to know to make sure everyone's in good health and at the top of their game. Just like Mark Briscoe on the mic for the second week in a row.
Yes.
Randy Savage-esque coked out Mark Briscoe trying to deliver a promo about his team of Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly and having Dante Martin with them this evening. They get interrupted by a just crossing Jack Perry for obvious reasons.
But then Briscoe doesn't react until after Perry has left the screen.
Yeah. And get out of here, man.
Get out of here, Jack Perry. It's like, he's already left.
Can we talk about like when this promo began with Renee talking, and then as soon as Mark talking, Kyle O'Reilly just making the best facial expressions ever?
He giggled. Did you hear him giggle?
I love it. It's like, I'll follow this man anywhere. I'm like, me too.
Well, they did that sort of. They knew it was coming, so they're like, I'm gonna look straight ahead. I'm not gonna laugh. I'm gonna take this serious. But he couldn't help himself.
Nope.
And then Dante Martin's back there like, how bad could it be? This can't be that bad. And then he's kind of gave up.
Dante's turning away, trying not to laugh. Orange Cassidy is also trying not to break. Renee's trying not to break. Kyle O'Reilly just gives in immediately.
The best part was when Kyle giggled, you saw Renee start to go, and then just, nope, gonna keep it down.
Yeah, and Renee's laughing by the end. She's just there smiling with her. Like,
she gets a friendship bracelet because he can't give them out to anybody else.
Yes, I love it.
Renee, I don't know if this will ever happen, but if AEW is around 20 years from now and there's some kind of Hall of Fame, which is not even really a Hall of Fame because there's no museum, there's no place to go that is the Hall of Fame, right? But if there's any sort of legends or whatever, Renee better be that first class. Like
Renee is the Mean Gene Okerlund of AEW.
Yeah,
she is she is a pillar that is holding up all of this just as much as any of the other wrestlers. The original pillars, the original whatever, she's right in the thick of it. She's so good at this.
Renee is amazing. And then, because she still has a couple more years to go too. Eventually, Lexi, I feel like would get there too. Lexi is also really great.
Sure, yeah.
And well, she's sitting at the knee of one of the best in the business, so you never ever can go wrong with that. Just like having two of the best in the business in the ring right after this for another promo, as Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland basically go off script to tear each other down since they've known each other for so long. And you know what? I'm going to say something out here. I want to get your opinion on it. I like my champion, even if they're supposedly the babyface in this whole situation, to be that person that's going to threaten your family, go down that road, and just twist the knife like Strickland always can do. This was pure gold.
But to do it like this is interesting. It's not, to speak of another promotion where it's sort of like, yeah, I'm going to do a kick door and threaten your wife in the kitchen. Sure.
He already did that though.
But part of me is like that. Yeah, we did have that angle. So
he cut a promo on a baby. I mean, like, come on.
But there's something to this that feels, it made it feel more personal the way this was done, right? There was this sense of like, what if I do this to you? What if I do poke and prod you this way? What if I do call you out this way? Because there is that sense of history here. It's not some manufactured, all right, well, it's got to be you two. Let's get some heat going. This is like, well, let's play on, I've known you forever. Let's play on that a little bit because I know you can take it, and let's go with it. This was a very electric promo, and there was a moment in the middle here where the crowd got silent in that sort of awkward, like, what? Sort of like, I'm not sure who the face of the heel is. Because
Good. That's what you need.
Because Ospreay said something, and everyone was like, that was mean.
So there were two parts where kind of Ospreay went into for kind of the twist of the knife a little bit. First, I wrote this down. You had a hit row while I had a hit list defeating all the best in the world. I was like, well, damn. And then when he answered back to Swerve, what happens with that kill shot you have is off by a couple of centimeters. And I was just like, oh, damn, here we go.
Yeah.
And, but Swerve just brought it home at the end after the music plays, and Swerve tells them to cut it off. It says, what if I do want to make it personal? I'm like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, it's on like Donkey Kong. It's about to get real. And then on top of that, too, before this, Will Ospreay mentioned, it's like, what if I pull out the Tiger Driver on you? You ain't walking out of that arena. So my apologies. I'm like, damn, somebody's about to die. It's going to be kind of nuts.
I think, and the lovely director, theater, playwright in me loves that Nana jumps in there just enough. And it wasn't too much. It was just enough to sort of accent that along. The sort of like, hey, you two, you still have a job to do.
Yep.
We have work to do. You don't have to do it like this. And then it's spilling over in a way. That's kind of a masterclass in how to build this out of nowhere. And not that it's out of nowhere, but sort of like, all right, you want a little more heat here? Let's go. And this crowd reacted like a theater crowd would. It was silent at times. They were breathing in this sort of what is happening in front of us thing. It was fascinating.
Yeah, it wasn't a bored silence. It was definitely an intense, like, watching silence.
Oh, yeah. Everyone's jaws dropped like, oh.
Say hi to your family for me. Like, serious. Oh.
Then gets back in. They go head to head. They're about to headbutt each other. And
Mikey, you've been in those classrooms where someone says something and student says something and even the teacher has a pause. You're like, oh, that just happened in my room.
Sometimes sometimes I'm trying not to laugh. I was like, oh shit, he got you. Okay, I got to be
all
professional
the time.
here.
I will tell you.
Okay, we can't do this. And then afterwards, you'd be like, yo, that was great. Like, give me some dabs. Well, because it's always like the kids that you don't expect to have these fire comebacks. So I'm just like, you've been sitting on this for a while, and now you just found the opportunity to bring it out because they pushed you too far. And that's what I'm hoping what happens at Forbidden Doors. Now that we've kind of gotten this heat between Will and Swerve, I want them to, y'all can respect each other, but it's going to be a massacre. Do everything you can, pull all the tricks you got out of your book. I'm excited that this is our main event. Both of them deserve it, especially Swerve. Swerve finally deserves to have a main event.
Well, and this honestly proved at this point, you don't know who's coming away with the win in this one. They just are so evenly set. I can't predict this yet.
No, I'm still 50-50. I'm probably going to stay 50-50 until the bell rings at the end of the match at Forbidden Door.
Well, the only thing that pushed me over into thinking it's going to be Swerve is the way that they played the Don Callis family angle by the end of this.
Well, yeah, because we cut backstage, right? And so you have Don, Trent Beretta, Konosuke Takeshita, and you have Kyle Fletcher. So
Kyle,
Don,
sweet child.
Don, Takeshita, and Trent, they all leave after Don says, hey, we got bigger things to worry about. They all leave, and Kyle Fletcher, just the agony and the pain in his eyes, he's just like, I am stuck in the middle here. I don't know what to do.
All Kyle wants to do is fight Mark Briscoe for the ROH title. Why is he
should? He should. He got the pin on.
His promo after last week's online, if you can find his promo there, was fire.
Give that man the title. I'm going to put it in our group chat.
Well, then we cut from the Dom Fallis family having their bit there to, honestly, a better match than I was going to give it credit for tonight is the All-Star 8-man match.
Yeah.
This was definitely All-Star as Zack Sabre Jr., Kyle Fletcher, Konosuke Takeshita, and Roddy Strong. Oh, yes, it's the Bring Your Minions to Work Day group again, plus Zack Sabre Jr. versus Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, Dante Martin, and Kyle O'Reilly. And yeah, this one not only was a spot fest in certain ways, it gave us kind of some fun little matches we want to see down the road, and gave us a weird, fun movement of a storyline that I didn't know was actually percolating in the background that much because I'd forgotten about it.
What'd you forget about?
The fact that Roddy Strong wants Kyle O'Reilly to stop being an idiot and join the kingdom.
Right. I forgot about that as well.
There you go.
That's right.
Hence why Kyle O'Reilly takes the bullet for Orange Cassidy at the end of this match.
Yeah, okay. But I didn't connect those dots because it's been, I don't know, months. I think you're right. This was way better than it had business going. We just had one kind of like the exact same thing last week, right? So I was like, we're just doubling this up. It's just slightly different. O'Reilly almost ripped Roderick Strong's knee and leg off.
Yep.
And they held that for minutes. And I was like, that's bad.
Was that a bit of a nod towards the other company having all the problems with the ropes and people's knees and stuff getting ripped up by that? I mean,
was it really?
No, but that'd be hilarious if it was. And Professor, you and I know how the true winner at Clash at the Castle was the ropes.
Oh, it was the ropes. The ropes were undefeated. The ropes went 5-0.
They almost took out Damian Priest, which was really scary.
This was great. Yeah, it was kind of a spot fest in certain parts where you knew they rehearsed and they knew it was
this
okay.
This is a long match too. It went through 2 commercial breaks.
Yeah, this ran
that's
forever.
Also because you didn't have commercials at the beginning of the show,
right?
So you had to put them somewhere.
This was a 20-minute match.
No.
I will say one of my favorite spots is when Takeshita went to go throw Dante into like a pop-up power bomb and then just into this huge air poison rod, and he just kips up. I was just like,
the double Hurricane Rana off the ropes, which was great there.
Yes.
And honestly, I'm going to tell you this. I know, people that say, technical wrestling, submission wrestling can be boring. Give me Kyle O'Reilly versus Zack Sabre Jr. somewhere down the road. I want them to tear themselves up on the mat somewhere.
Give me more Dante Martin solo matches, man.
Yes.
Dude is magnetic. And I'm not saying he's being misused, and I love me some Top Flight. Don't get me wrong, but where you been?
He was injured for a while.
I know he was hurt for a bit, but that dude could run.
We witnessed the ankle break that shocked the world.
I just feel like I would love give him. I haven't heard of promos from him in forever. I feel like.
I don't know. I don't think they would give it to him, but I would love if he won the TNT Championship ladder match, because I feel like giving him a solo run would be great. Plus, I think we might be doing something, though. If he doesn't get the title, I think we're doing something with Lio Rush, because him and Action Andretti have a match, I believe, on Rampage to see who qualifies for ladder match. And they've been teasing that last week, where Leo interrupted their interview and then came out for the save last week. And Darius is like, yeah, no, I can't trust this man as far as I can throw him.
And he can throw him pretty far. He's very small.
Yes.
But yeah, this Spot Fest kind of brought it all together. I did love. I had to laugh at this. This was like, oh yeah, this is something the professor would be like. This is so dumb, it's good. Where Taz on commentary is going, Dante's using he was watching the best of Taz Volume 5, stealing all my offense.
Yeah, that's so bad. I laughed at that. I'm not gonna.
This is one good thing all night. It was like, oh God, Taz, why are you there?
Just enough meta to make it weird. That's funny. Okay, great. Keep going.
Completely. Meanwhile, Tony Schiavone's on his phone the whole time. He's gonna hear him in the ad breaks. But
Schiavone kept getting mad. Like,
yeah,
Schiavone was pissy this episode.
Just all of a sudden bark over and be like, "Come on, man, dude!" Like, just say one-liners. I'm not sure what they're fighting about.
I don't either, but this was the same type of commentary we got on most women's matches. So I was like, oh well, they had to save it for one match because there wasn't a women's match tonight except for one. But
we'll talk about that. I was mad. I was like, y'all give them only 8 minutes. How dare you?
But so Kyle O'Reilly takes the bullet for Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy then ends up getting the pin to win the match. Everyone's kind of celebrating, putting stuff together, and Jack Perry comes up to attack. And it's just like, oh come on, man! He's attacking Briscoe. He's attacking a bunch of others. He's going after everybody. And I think he took Dante down, right? He took Dante Martin down?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So Jack Perry underused or misused this week is what I'm thinking, because he's just not feeling like he's a part of anything right now.
I'm wondering what they want to do with Jack Perry. If they just want
he's
him...
winning the ladder match.
Sure, but in the...
Yeah, I think they're going to.
I guess if it's just I'm just gonna be a jerk until then and just randomly Tanya Harding people every now and then and just walk around and
the problem is that even though Perry is with the Elite, I feel like he is the outlier to this, because you have the Bucks and Okada, because of their history of New Japan and all that good stuff. They are like, I can believe that as a 3. Jack Perry is just tacked on. Jack Perry in the new Elite is like, your mom is making you take your kid brother with you, even though you're going to go hang out with your friends, kind of deal. And so you all go to the mall and just tell him, it's like, here's $20. Go, don't get caught by the cops. Don't get in trouble. And so Jack Perry's just wandering the mall, attacking everybody else.
I'm going to make a 20-year-old reference here. He's the turtle of Entourage is what he is.
Oh my gosh. Pop the professor.
So good. If people aren't going to get these jokes if we just start making references that's great.
Our demographic is pretty wide, Professor.
I guess it is now. Yeah, I guess that's fair. So we got to talk about the next promo and how it's sort of...
Hola, Stephanie.
Sort of creepy... Oh, well, not promo. Yes.
Yeah.
I meant the
Hola, Stephanie. You don't... Oh, my God, Mercedes.
Let's talk about that one.
I love Lucha.
And then we could talk about the creepy family member walking up to you in the locker room. Let's talk about this one first.
Hola, Stephanie.
Before Bad Touch, we have Hola, Stephanie.
Before Bad Touch.
Yo, we got close to be like, what in the 50 Shades of Hey is this?
But either way, Mercedes does a video package because, again, they won't let her talk on the mic live anymore because she just doesn't seem to be able to carry her promos.
What is that about? Is that a thing?
Again, my conspiracy theory has been for a while is that she was very tightly looked at when she was in the other company, and now that she's free to do her own stuff, she's realizing she probably didn't do a lot of training in terms of building her promos, and she just felt like she could get away on personality, and so she talks in circles and doesn't really get anywhere with it, but has the attitude that isn't backed up by the words. So we have to script her, and we've got to get her on camera, and then we can get actual cohesive stuff across.
That's tough.
It is.
Like, what a tough position to be in for her, right? To be like, hey, this is what the job demands. Learn it. And have no coaching or nothing else. Like, go figure it out.
You've already learned it because supposedly you were really good, which she was.
Yeah.
but there were people checking her stuff, and like, you know, she wasn't able to have carte blanche because she wasn't the big star coming in for the big contract. She was still coming up from NXT and doing everything else there. Now she's out on her own, and she may not have learned the lessons as well as we think she has.
It's tough.
It is. So I feel like Mercedes needs to either find a mouthpiece, or she needs to get some, you know, even though their characters are completely different, like behind the scenes, get some advice from Tony. Even though her shtick is way out there, Tony always has good promos. Willow Nightingale is also somebody she can go to too. Willow always has great promos too.
Well, she nailed the Boston Homecoming promo. Nailed that. But what's hard about that is the circumstances, and anyone in the theater or actors will tell you, it's like, hey, go speak from the heart. You could talk all day. If now we're getting into, hey, invent something, well, when you're inventing, now you're going to get stuck in this place where you're not speaking from the truthful.
It's not even inventing, it's sell something. It's not
like
talk what you want to talk about. It's sell this thing.
Sure.
And unless you're talking from the heart as a salesperson, you're not going to give it what it needs.
No, and ultimately this promo served the purpose. She's answering back to what Stephanie called her out on last week during Stephanie's promo, which, you know, I'm all for it. I kind of wish we had, well, who knows, it might happen next week, but I would love to see some sort of face-to-face interaction, at least between Stephanie and Mercedes. Like, I know because their schedules are completely different, especially since Stephanie this upcoming weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, is defending that title in CMLL's and New Japan's Fantastic Mania pay-per-view, which I'm excited to watch. It's going to be fantastic.
That'll be
main
a lot
event.
of fun.
Yeah, the main event is Mystico versus my homeboy. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking his name? Hiromu Takahashi. There we go. That should be a good match.
Horseshoe Tanahashi?
Not Horseshoe Tanahashi.
Hit your Cheerios?
But anyways, we move on from Mercedes to Bad Touch.
Bad Touch. Because Dom Phallus is loose and he's touching luchadors.
Out of nowhere, that weird, creepy hand
The lighting
ring
did
thing,
not help. The lighting did not help.
There was a red light from the side and a very sweaty Roosh, and it's just like...
It's just like...
Oh,
so I heard
God.
he left you. It's okay, buddy. It's like, wait, what?
Hey there, Jimmy. Do you like movies about gladiators?
No! Oh, this made me... While the professor cracks up over here, and JBL cracks up too. I'm going to give my 2 cents in this whole
I love it.
This made me so uncomfortable, you guys. Like, it's not even a joke. I was legit uncomfortable. I was like, I needed to take a shower afterwards. Like, I was like, I don't know if this is how it was meant to come off, but it did. And I'm frightened. Like, this was. Ugh.
So, creepy, awkward, horrible, dark side of the web aside.
Dark side of the ring, AEW style.
Oh, it's a matter of time.
No, don't say that.
It's a matter of time. I do think that as far as Dom Phallus heel faction goes, it gives Roosh something to do.
But does it?
Does it though?
What has Roosh been doing?
Well,
But what
What
does
has
he
Roosh been
fill?
doing?
What role does he fill?
The one that when they usurp Will Ospreay, Roosh can step right into it.
See, I disagree. Roosh and Takeshita are the same thing.
Yes,
They're
they're
hard-hitting,
powerhouses.
fast powerhouses.
Yeah.
There could only be one. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, though. Because maybe Roosh is stepping in temporarily because Takeshita is going to be busy in New Japan because he's participating in the G1 Climax this year.
Sure.
Yeah, they released the block, so Takeshita is in it.
I just feel like if you want Roosh to have some sort of momentum and stories that aren't just shoehorned together random filler feuds, this kind of gives us a reason to see Roosh on the regular and collecting that TV check every week, which
Maybe they
I'm not
shouldn't
against.
have fired Jose the assistant, but
Well, I was going to say that because he had Los Ingobernables for a while, and then all of
then
them are
they
gone
dissolved.
now.
Yeah, Jose the assistant's gone. Who knows what
Andrade's gone.
Yeah.
So if it means I get to see more Roosh, even though he's with that Phallus family stuff, which they want us to
You
hate them,
can't Roosh a
fine.
Phallus, okay?
You can. You shouldn't.
Hey, Jimmy.
Stop
You ever
it.
seen a grown man naked?
No! We're moving on.
It's so good.
Yes, let's move on to the highlight of the night.
I pressed the wrong button. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
bitch.
So the EVPs come out for their basically qualifier match to see if the Acclaimed can beat them to get a title shot.
Justin
and
Roberts read their resume as they were making
that was the weirdest intro, and I'm all here for it. Wearing their new attire with the pearl neck. Anyways, so they come out. The
Yeah,
Acclaimed
what's the
come
pearl
out.
necklace thing? Why
wearing
is that
pearls
the thing?
now.
He's wearing pearls now, and last week he got made fun of for it by
But
the Acclaimed.
this has been a weird alpha male thing for a while now, right? To just walk around wearing a pearl necklace.
Literally, that's what the EVPs are right now. They're Giga Chads.
No, I get it.
Pearls, of course, the new version and more expensive version of puka shells.
Yes.
Is that a thing? Man, rich people, man. Killing
White
it.
people. Not even rich
White
people.
people.
it's
White people.
man.
White people. Yeah.
White people. I don't know. I take solace in knowing that every time I just laugh and go, my God, someone tricked you into wearing a pearl necklace outside. And I just laugh to myself in my car.
I'm doing it ironically. I understand what it means.
Do you? Do you? Ask Greg Giraldo.
Hey, Jimmy.
So the EVPs come out, and then the Acclaim also come out. Max Caster tries to do his rap, and that's where
And
we
then
get.
we get the video of Okada.
Perfect.
I pressed the wrong button. I'm sorry.
Okada needs to be a comedy wrestler. Why he hasn't been a comedy wrestler for his career, I don't know.
I'm so happy that he's doing this because he was so serious in New Japan the whole entire time, and I feel like this is his true personality. Honestly,
It's like Kenny Omega has invaded his personality because gone nuts with it.
yo, I need Okada and Kenny Omega when Kenny's ready to come back. Like, I need those two in the same room just to do this ridiculous and like comedy bit.
And there's a sense of Japanese humor, particularly sketch comedy humor, that is absurd and sometimes so. I'm trying to think of it. Meta's the wrong word. Almost third person, almost right. Like just sort of.
It's
I'm on the
removed,
outs-
yeah.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I'm in on the joke, and you don't know I'm in on it, and they're just. I'm saying this. I've said this a lot. Some countries are funnier than us. Japan's kind of funnier than us in a lot of ways. In some of the stuff they do.
Yes.
He's as sketch comedy and certain stand-ups and performers and things like that. Hilarious. I would love more of this. Give it all to me.
You know what else I loved? Anthony Bowens continues to prove that this man needs to be a single star at sub capacity because this man
my
can
God.
go.
I went down a rabbit hole of his career during this match for that reason. Like, how come you hasn't gotten a solo run? Like, and boggles the mind.
Well,
There's got to be some discrimination somewhere down along the line, as we all know.
Sure,
it's a hate crime.
I think it absolutely could be that the first openly gay champion. I don't know if anyone wants to hold
I
that.
want
flag.
that.
I mean, Fred
I
Rosser
would-
wants to be it, but that's
I would
beside the point.
adore that. But
I want the first openly gay African American AEW World Champion.
huge.
Or single champion, anyways. But
Yeah.
I don't know. But
How
Anthony
amazing
Bowens-
would that be?
Anthony Bowens sells really well. He's amazing in the ring. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I like the Acclaim, but Anthony always seems to be carrying
Sure.
the Acclaim through their matches. Not to say that Max is bad in any capacity, but Max is good for, what he's good for. Anthony, literally, this was a 2-on-1 match for most of this.
With a hurt Anthony Bowens, supposedly.
Yes.
His quad being torn up.
I also love
Is he hurt,
Go ahead.
or was that a sell?
It's a sell, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a sell.
I
Cause
will say,
Sold
love
it a
That
few
much athletic
yeah.
tape on a quad for
Mhm.
that type of thing.
sold it a few times. I was like, oh my God, is he hurt? Please don't be hurt.
I laughed when the Bucks stopped in the middle of the match to pump up their shoes.
Perfect.
Well, no, they didn't stop. They hit him with the EVP trigger, and it didn't keep him down. So they had to pump up to hit
try
another
it
one.
again.
Super kick party into that.
I
But
love
go ahead.
for anyone 30 and over, the early 90s jokes about pumping up your shoes, which were in every cartoon, all kinds
Robin
of
Hood
movies.
Men in Tights.
Robin Hood Men in Tights. Excuse me, fellas, I am running out of air. Gosh, Naked Gun, I think, has one. I think one of those Naked Guns has one. Like, there were just those jokes. So to see this 30 years later, like, oh my God, they ran that back and it's not awkward and weird? Wait, what?
That's
And
also, yeah.
Absurd.
It not being weird is also the feeling I had because I was also shocked that the Acclaimed actually won this Eliminator match.
Why?
Because
Who else is going to be their opponents at Forbidden Door? Like, who else is going to be there for Wembley?
AEW has done some weirder stuff in the past.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I anticipated them. I
it makes-
anticipated them shutting Acclaim down.
They would have if FTR was healthy.
That is also fair, but Dax is out for a couple months because he lied about his injury.
His contusion.
His
Yeah,
contusion.
sure, but they've in my opinion, misused them for so long.
That's
that
what I'll say
I
about
was not
another
thinking
African American tag
they-
team later in the evening.
They just gave them. I was like, they're just gonna give them no run. This is a throwaway, and
They're
they
setting them up for the Motor City Machine Guns at this point, basically.
Probably. But it makes sense that the Acclaim won here because I smell shenanigans, which is ultimately still probably building to blood and guts, which the Acclaim are going to be a part of.
Oh, yeah. You've got to set the seed somewhere. This is where they did it. Overall, good match to watch, and they got it across, and we had a beatdown afterwards, which is always fun. But then we got to the promo. I am loving this sitcom style of whatever is going on with these three, but in my head I'm going, but the interaction between Hook and Samoa Joe is literally you and me, Professor, just doing a random improv scene somewhere, some place, and yelling all stuff that we do, and Shibata with his thing.
I'm Shibata in this situation.
Yes, you're behind the camera with a translator. Samoa Joe and Hook are talking about the fact that they need to do a sneak attack on the premier athletes, like really show it to them. Obviously, Mark Sterling saw it coming, but he tells Hook to be more, like, just be bigger, be more.
Over is what he said.
But they were talking about a sneak attack, full chest, in front of the door.
Yep.
With a camera. That's not a sneak attack anymore.
But it's totally a sneak attack because no one's watching the product.
Ooh, burn. Good burn. Careful, Tony Khan's going to send a lightning bolt to your house.
Oh, well, as long as he yells Doom Time as he comes and does it,
With that cardboard look in his face. Doom Time.
Tony, we like you. Don't hurt us.
Just no cell, just eyes wide open because he doesn't have eyelids anymore.
Right here in Vermont. Doom Time.
Doom Time. I agree with you. This feels like an improv scene that we would do as you pull it out of a hat and go, you are two blank wrestlers who are blanking, but your scene partners aren't blank. And then we just turn it into that thing.
I love it.
I like where we're going. I love seeing the two of them together. I wish they did more buddy cop stuff like MJF and Adam Cole did. I want to see them on location.
We get an extra
stuff.
thing with this too, because it's not just a buddy. Well, technically it's a buddy cop, and Shibata's just documenting the whole entire thing.
I would love Shibata, them sitting in a booth in a restaurant, and Shibata is still there with the camera next to them as they're eating.
on Google Translate.
That could be hysterical.
Oh, I love Shibata's Google Translate line killed me.
Oh my god.
They need a budget. Give them a budget. Give them a push. They could do so much more with it.
Well, they said they'll workshop it, so they probably should be good,
So, what was it? Collision? Yeah, Collision is where we're getting this match.
Yep, it is, supposedly.
Yes, me and Adolfo get to watch this. It's going to be great.
Well, gentlemen, we go away from buddy cops and fun stuff to basically the highlight of the evening for a lot of folks as we get to the contract side. It's a sapphic love story for the ages as we get to Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa having their contract signing for the AEW Women's Championship match at Forbidden Door. And it is hosted by Mariah May, who, okay, Professor, I had to think of you every time this happened. She would say her line, and her tick and her tell when she's giving something she's been scripted is turn to the side. Then come back to it as if she's like winking at someone. It's like the script isn't over there. You're trying to remember your lines, but you learn them by going, they're here. Now they're here.
Yes. That thing where you, if you learn your lines here all the time and then all of a sudden you go to find them and you go like, I forgot the line. You'll go right back to where you learned them originally. Or
exactly.
Whoever was giving you the cue, you look back and then the cue this way. Like you could put that in you habitually. I got a little bit of that. I got very tense from her.
Yes.
She can cut the promos. She's not bad on the mic at all. She was which kind of sells the moment of what we're in, right? She was very tense with sort of, what am I doing? What am I doing? How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I sell this? Awkward, which could speak to 100 different things. But yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I normally hate contract signings. Very rarely does do these come off in a way where I'm interested in watching it, partly because I love all three of them. We learned that Tony Storm's signature isn't a signature, right? Tony Storm's signature is quite literally going,
yes,
which was quite funny. I'm going to be a jerk. I love all three of them. I don't know if we needed this. I don't think it built too much.
You didn't need a place where nothing goes down and then Saraya has to come in to put someone through a table.
I love it because this is what we got women in the episode. I wish they got more to do. It didn't fall flat to me necessarily, but there was a part of me that wanted more out of this, and I'm not sure what it was that was missing. Maybe we could diagnose it.
Tony Storm's one-liners too. My God, that woman is just so damn good.
Yeah.
Mikey, you've been smiling this whole time. Open up this can. Talk to us, please.
Okay, I'm gonna get some flack for this. I feel like this is all way too much to be crammed into one segment, because we could have been fine with the contract signed and then just like leaving Mariah in the middle of the ring, because, you know, Tony said, no, Mina tells Mariah, you need to choose either me or her. And we could have left it at that, but no. Then Tony's like, oh, wait, I forgot. I didn't schedule this for next week. Okay, just have them go. And then, you know, Saraya and Harley Cameron come out, and then Anna Jay is with them now, I guess, which bummed me the hell out. I was like,
it's a waste of Anna Jay.
Oh my God. I was like, you could have just paired her with Alex Windsor. Let them become a tag team and just like run through. Anyways, this was a lot that happened, and we could have gotten to the end of everything without Saraya and Anna Jay and Harley, because Mariah in this instance, like, Tony takes the bullet for her, but Mariah in the end chooses Mina, as Mina is comforting her at the top of the ramp. I love that we got lots of women in the segment, but this was way too much. We didn't need the second half of this with Saraya and them coming out for the beatdown. We could have saved that to next week or something, but no. They're like, we should probably give all these women a win, so let's have them beat Saraya, Harley, and Anna Jay's probably taking this pin, which makes me very upset.
And I think that's what I'm kind of speaking to, is it felt almost, what's a good word? I don't know a good word to explain this. Superfluous. Like, it just seemed like if they streamlined this a little bit, I would believe that it was a difficult choice for Mariah May. I would believe that this contract and this match mattered, that the two of them really wanted to fight for it. But there was something about it, and I love the over-the-top stuff, don't get me wrong, but something felt often kind of, they were just a step behind. I'll say it in improv terms. They were ahead of the joke.
Yes.
And the audience may or may not have felt that way, but there was a sense of like, I know where you're going. You're going to pull this bit, aren't you? And then they pull the bit and they go, I knew that was coming. Yeah. And then I bet you something else is going to happen. Oh, look, there's the thing that I thought was okay. Yeah. And it's not that you don't like it. It's that you're just not, it's not that same impact.
Well, you telegraphed it. Yeah.
Well, I think on top of that too, from like the writer in me, the rising action, you've crammed like 2 or 3 steps into one segment, because here's how I would have done it. We could have we take the Outcasts and what happened afterwards out. We didn't need that. You could have saved that for afterwards or whatever.
It could have been a backstage thing where they got attacked in the back.
Or yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, have it happen after Forbidden Door. Like, this could be something that, you know, Tony and Mariah, you know, are ultimately Mariah's going to choose Tony, because how I would have booked this and written this is that you have Mina tell Mariah, hey, who you choosing, me or her? Have the girls kind of like do a physical comedy bit where they're like pulling Mariah to physically show the audience, hey, these 2 girls, Mariah's in the middle and they're trying to pull her to the side. Mariah gets flustered. She tells both of them, I need some time to think about it. And then over Rampage and Collision this week, you get small vignettes of Mariah like contemplating what to do or things like that. And then the go home show, Mariah's like, I still don't know. I will give you guys my decision at the end of your match at Forbidden Door. Like, let's wait it out. Like, let Mariah be in turmoil. Let her go through that struggle before coming to the realization. Have her talk to, you know what would have been funny? Have her talk to Luther. Luther doesn't talk back, but she's just venting to Luther about everything, because there's also some beef between Mariah and Luther too. But I feel that we jumped 2 to 3 steps way too quickly into it. So now it's just like, okay, so all 3 of us got to be on the same team, because we're going to fight Saraya and the Outcasts probably next week on Dynamite in some capacity. And I'm just like, y'all jumped way too quickly into this. You rushed the development for Mariah May's like conflict. And I get that they need to get to this point because the pay-per-view is literally next weekend. But I'm like, come on. You couldn't let Mariah like have that inner turmoil. I was just like, how dare you? But that's where I'm at with all this.
I agree.
That's quite all right. We transition off of this, though, to another video promo, as Claudio Castagnoli basically tells us that he and Pac are going to be wrestling tonight in the opener for the Owen Hart Cup, and that they should do it not for each other, not for the fans. They should give each other a good match for wrestling's sake. This is going to be a technical masterpiece, is what he keeps saying. And you know what? I don't think he was wrong.
I liked it a lot. We'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah, pretty quick there. We jump straight back from commercial to Kris Statlander taking on Nyla Rose in their qualifier. And
I was mad this was only 8 minutes.
I'm mad it was 8 minutes. I'm mad that even though Nyla Rose got the ginormous hometown pop, she didn't get more
home.
But man, the bumps she did take for Statlander and the stuff they did together, give these women like double the time. This was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I have not seen her go to the top rope. Maybe I haven't seen enough of her matches, but I was like, you're going way high. Oh my god! And then I haven't seen. I will phrase this differently than what I was going to say. Kris Statlander pulls her off the top rope, walks her into a tombstone.
Yep.
And
Holds her.
Yep.
And drops it.
Yep.
Someone twice her size, maybe 3 times her size. Incredible feats of strength. Like, that was pretty remarkable. The whole thing was great. Like, there were some really tough shots here, and they were not pulling any punches. They were hitting each other hard. I thought that the crowd was absolutely in at the top for sure, and then they kind of faded away, which made me sad. It would have been great to see her go farther in the tournament, but Kris Statlander is the one that's being pushed right now. I was a little confused about the Stokely afterwards.
Oh, his promo was
choosing
terrible.
the words. I was like, what are you trying to say?
I'm used to Stokely being off the cuff, but even this was too.
Sometimes
off the cuff
he's
for him.
on, and it's like, dang, yeah, he's just saying funny things from his heart. But this was weird. And then the video package, I hate the video package where, hey, look at me, I'm going to cut you off, even though this was obviously pre-taped. No one does it well, and this was just an example of it getting more and more awkward.
I'm kind of a little perturbed of how we set up the tournament too, because number one, poor Serena Deeb is losing to Willow.
Yeah, we know that's happening.
Right.
I honestly think your money match was to have Willow and Kris go into the finals, but you have them on the same side of the bracket. I'm like, y'all did not think this through.
Or they did because neither of them are winning.
Ooh. But then, what?
Yeah, think about it.
Hold
Why
on.
would you stick them on the same part of the bracket if you wanted either of them to win, because that is your money match?
You know, I guess it's fair.
Or one of them doesn't, and it gives one of them a reason to interfere with the other.
Well, I guess that's fair. Because Mariah's in this tournament, and like I said,
She's winning it.
Yeah, Mariah's
She's winning
winning
the
this tournament because it's going to be her versus Tony at Wembley.
Yep.
So, Mariah,
so if you know that's happening, you're not going to waste your time getting them set up to do that at that point. You want them out of the way first to be able to have that set up.
I'm trying to remember, is Hikaru facing Mariah? That just makes it worse.
It does.
Not in the first round.
Yep.
So, anyways, Willow cuts the promo afterwards where, you know, she has her match on Rampage on Friday against Serena. Feel bad for Serena because now we're just jobbing her out to everybody.
Well, and spoilers if you want and everything else, they recorded Rampage that night.
Yep.
So we know that Serena lost. So
makes
it's
me
where we are.
Sad, but I wish these women got more time, but this was a really great match, and I cannot wait to see Willow and Kris collide in the semifinals.
We literally could have cut the next promo to give them more time because we have Private Party being interrupted by the Learning Tree.
Colonizer.
Hi, guys.
Private Party wearing those mid-90s.
Private Party didn't even get to talk in this promo because they were immediately cut off. I was like, racist! I'm just kidding.
And then they cut themselves off at the end. Like, no. And then
Isaiah Cassidy's like, bye, guys.
What a weird...
Renee was trying so hard.
Private Party doesn't want to be in this feud, but, you know, they're not going to complain because they're getting TV time, but I could tell that they don't want to be here. Brian Keith doesn't want to be here.
Yeah.
Just
only Large Williams seems to be the one having fun here.
Gee, I wonder why.
It's perfect for him. He's the only thing that works in this whole thing.
So you say.
I'm going to die on that tree. I'm fine with it.
Good.
So we have that quick, die on that tree, just be like Odin, give your eye up, get some knowledge. Anyway.
Struck by lightning.
We go straight from there.
Justice.
Yes, but also, why was this match on Dynamite this week?
It didn't need to.
It really didn't need to be. Daniel Garcia taking on Rhett Titus, and, you know, they give the background on who Rhett Titus is as a former ROH TV champ. Daniel Garcia beats the crap out of him, and it's really just setting up him to be attacked by the cage of agony. And then we have MJF and Will Ospreay coming down for the save.
For some reason.
No, not
Why?
for some reason. To have a back-to-back spot where MJF and Ospreay are in the same ring. For some reason. Justice for Daniel Garcia. You're so much better than that.
What are they doing to Daniel Garcia?
They don't know.
Nothing. They're not doing anything.
This is the weird part.
Why,
Like,
why are
2
they doing it like this?
2 weeks ago, we literally had Daniel Garcia teaming up with Shibata. I was like, yo, this could be a really great tag team. And then, I'm not mad that Shibata is with Joe and Hook, but now Daniel Garcia is they're just floundering with Garcia. Give this man the TNT championship. Like, do something. I feel like Garcia has been long overdue for a singles title at this point.
I don't know if it's because he's young. I don't know if there's something else going on, but
Sir.
they're kind of wasting this guy.
You have had MJF, you had Darby Allin, you have had all these other folks around the same age as Daniel Garcia win the singles titles and whatnot, yet he has not won a single thing, and I am getting frustrated.
Sure.
His hips don't lie. Come on.
Shakira.
But we had our setup moment where Will Ospreay and MJF go back to back, and then they turn to each other, and okay, we know that's coming down the road.
That's the
Hooray.
Wembley match. I'm just kidding.
We cut backstage. Renee stops Ospreay, and he says he doesn't care about MJF, and he's really just trying to like deal with everything else going on. And Brian Cage is held back by a bunch of people, and he's going to take him on for the title at this point.
Yeah, the International Championship match, Will Ospreay versus Brian Cage, is set for Collision. I'm excited for it. The only thing that I wrote down is because I'm juvenile. Like Will Ospreay called him a wanker.
There's no way those 4 men are holding back Brian Cage.
That's the other thing. I was like, I was like, literally, that man is the size of a brick house. Like,
I'm like,
calm down.
if he wanted to bust through, he gonna get you. Like,
he gonna get you hard.
There's no way. And you could kind of see him giving into it and like, hey, tackle me, hey, and like, but
hold me back.
The funny thing is Will Ospreay is down. He's like, bro, just tackle me. Like,
yeah, like just go ahead, just bust through. That's fine. So
do it.
I don't know.
But we bust through. We go on to our main event. My match of the night, Claudio taking on Pac, and
so good.
What a match. This was pay-per-view level on regular TV.
I would agree.
This was so good.
We had the runoff. They traded like pinfall like attempts back and forth, and Pac.
The technical pinfall roll-off was amazing.
And Pac just was a little bit quicker and a little bit smarter because he ended up pulling out the win here, which I'm not going to lie, you guys, I was kind of shocked, but I'm pleasantly surprised that Pac won.
Especially with Danielson on commentary. It was like,
yeah, bro, like this is giving me the same feeling I had when were doing the Continental Classic for the championship when it, leading into World's End. I was like, just give me matches like this. This is what I want to see.
So Pac is what, 5'11"?
Something like that.
5'10"? And Claudio's tall, massive. Pac
is Swiss Cyborg.
Still looks huge next to Claudio Castagnoli.
Bro, Pac's chest alone is like...
Still looks massive.
My friend Uriel calls him Mighty Mouse.
Pac doing that gainer into the flip to land on his feet, to just roll out of it, to get
so good.
Like, whoa, all these little segments. Hyper-violent segments, which were just so much fun to watch. All the catch wrestling stuff in the second half of that was just a beaut. Just, I agree. I thought it was going to go the other way, particularly with Danielson on commentary, because, that's usually how it plays out. And I was pleasantly surprised. Mm-hmm. I really wanted a handshake. I really wanted a little bit of that Ring of Honor moment. Just a little bit of something.
They weren't going to get it.
I wasn't going to get it. I think Claudio's going to be doing that windmill move for the rest of his life until he's in his 50s, 60s, 70s if he wrestles that long. I don't know how he's not throwing up and not dizzy. You can kind of see it on his face, like, that one hurt, but I mean, incredible. It's not on my match of the year go rewatch list, but I'm gonna write it down anyway, just so that I don't forget this one happened. Because
I said, Professor, really on the other review channel, like most of my top matches are from the pay-per-views. There is only one television match so far this year that ended on it, and you know which one it was. Surprisingly, it was from Monday Night Raw. I put Braun versus Ilias on that list somewhere.
I went and watched that, and that's also on my don't forget about this one sort of matches. I have a few TV things that have shown up on here.
But Pac is moving on to the tournament. This makes me super excited. The other thing that makes me excited is that during this match, we got another match confirmed for Forbidden Door. It's for the men's Owen Hart tournament, and it's going to be the American Dragon Bryan Danielson, taking on Shingo Takagi of New Japan.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw that matchup, because JVL knows this, me and him are huge New Japan marks. I literally melted into a puddle when I saw that graphic. I'm like, oh gosh.
They're both so broken by the end of that thing. They're going to kick each other's ass.
Which is
so good.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry. When is the end of Danielson's contract and/or career?
Okay, so according to the reports, his contract is up actually around the time of Wrestle Dream in October.
Okay.
Which is going to be in Washington.
Okay.
Kind of an opportune time for him to retire there because Washington is his home state.
Right. Aberdeen guy, right? Yeah.
But he's also said he wants to go down to a part-time schedule and work
Sure.
that way instead. So not fully retired, but like less and less and more on creative. So we don't know what's coming at this point. We just know that he's going to get his butt kicked on the way out, and it's probably going to be in a New Japan.
Glorious.
Just such a difference, and I know we're up against it. We're almost finished. Such an interesting way that... I'll take that back. I love the way that wrestlers are now finding a way to retire with grace, partly because of the horrible examples we've seen over the last 2 or 3 years. Not to invoke all of those, and that's a topic for another podcast. But the way that Danielson's doing it and sort of tapering it and leading somewhere absolutely makes sense to me. The way that AJ Styles is kind of doing it, but kind of not doing it in another promotion.
I would say the most recent example
makes sense to me.
Despite the ups and downs of how we got, especially towards the ending, I really liked how we retired Sting. Like, honestly.
I like how we overcorrected to make sure we were doing it with grace, because there was a good 7 months there of, what are you doing to this guy? And then how we fixed it. But to avoid the Ric Flair retirements, to avoid some of the more, oh my God, what are you doing?
I purged that match from my memory.
And not to invoke other promotions or other things, but wrestlers who are still out there doing things. And I'm like, what are you doing? Stop.
Chris Jericho. Anyway.
Hi-yo.
But we end our night there. That is a great moment to go out on. And now we'll take it from Mikey and then the Professor, your empanada scale for this. What did you rate this week's Dynamite? Would you eat again?
Yeah, sure. Much tasty. Some spots better than others. Not quite a hot pocket. It was still frozen in the middle, but, nuclear lava hot on the outside. I'm in 7.5, almost 8 land. It wasn't extraordinary, but it was really solid. There were some matches in here that were more surprising, if anything else. You see them on paper and go, really? We're doing that again? Really? We're doing this thing? But then we were still wowed by it. Some of the promos, like we talked about, we could have done without or could have tightened here and there. Storyline wise, I like that we know where we're going. We already talked all that other shit to death. You're getting me interested. I want to watch. You're making me want to watch. There were 3 weeks in a row where we were like, oh, I gotta go. All right. How are they going to get out of it this time? And now I'm interested.
Those meddling kids. Anyway, Mikey, how'd you do?
I love how JVL asked me to go first and Professor just stepped all over.
I totally missed it. That's my fault.
That's okay, Professor.
Sorry.
So my rating.
Sorry.
I'm gonna also, I'm gonna give this a solid. Actually, I'm gonna give this a solid 8 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed this Dynamite. Again, I think I'm just coming off of the high that was a couple of days ago, where me and Minnie were blasphemous, and we gave a certain show a 10 out of 10 for, which we'll talk about afterwards. But I give this a solid 8 out of 10. The last couple of weeks, I've kind of been hard on Dynamite in the sense where the wrestling's fantastic, but it feels that outside of certain matches for Forbidden Door, we're kind of all over the place. And even though there were bits and pieces that were all over the place for this episode, this is probably the most complete show in terms of, hey, we're building to Forbidden Door. We added extra stakes now to our main event because now it got personal. We got 2 more matches made. We are getting, interactions with opponents like Orange Cassidy and Zack Sabre Jr. facing off at the end of their match, just looking across from each other. That match is going to be great. We are continuing to build towards the pay-per-view, which, has been really nice because the last 2 Forbidden Doors have been like, who's cleared? Here's all the matches like on the go home where we'd find like 10 whole matches. And this year, we're not even sure what's on the 0 hour yet, but it still has me excited. It still has me fascinated. Please give me Shane Hayes on 0 Hour. I need him and Mikey Nichols. That's all I'm going to say for TMDK. But I give this a solid 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed this. The pacing was really good. A couple of bumps and bruises along the way, but this was the most cohesive Dynamite in the last couple of weeks for me. And that's very important.
Fully agree that it was cohesive. It made sense for the most part. There was good flow to the evening. I would have given it a 7.5, but there was one women's match that was 8 minutes and one women's segment that was overbooked. You can do better. You will do better, or this is going to continue to be a problem. You're wondering why you're losing people. Work the women's matches. Anyhow, that is our look at AEW Dynamite for the 19th of June, 2024. Professor Mikey, thank you for being here. Thank you for giving your opinions and everything else. To you out there in BC WrestlePod land, thank you for being here with us as well and spending time with us here. But remember, whenever you join us here, that we're all biconic here at the BC WrestlePod, and we'll see you in the next video.
Do you want to be on top?
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's gonna happen next time? Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.